In this module, I'm going to show you guys how to take your layers and change the colors on them so that it makes things easier to see and makes it stand out on graphical text reports and things like that. Right now, the default for the background color is black, which makes sense for a laptop. It's pretty easy to see. It shows the difference between the other colors pretty well. But what I find is when I do an overhead projection of my data, if I put this onto a data show or some kind of an overhead projector that I plug into, the background seems to wash out the rest of the colors. So what I usually do when I do an overhead projector is I will go here to this layers icon. When I click on that, I automatically change the background color to a light gray. When I do that for this example here, I'll just quick do it and close out. Makes my IGES file look horrible and wash it out. So for this example, I will keep it as a background of black, but I just wanted to make a note of that for you. If anybody is out there putting presentations together for overhead projectors, it makes good sense to change that black background to a lighter gray. There's something easier to see. And of course, you can play with that when you start your presentation too, just to make sure that color shows up well for the projector. Okay, but what I like to do, though, is I like to take the colors and differentiate between things I've measured and the IGES file and some of the nominals that I've got in there. So right now, I've done a few things for measuring, and underneath this field here, what it's showing is all the layers, or all the features so far that I've got measured that are grouped by a layer color. One thing with layer colors here in 4.0 is that if I had, maybe I put a couple other spheres into here, or I measured a couple more circles, what I can't do is I can't change the color on individual features. Okay, if that makes sense. What I can't do is measure some more circles and make those circles green. So like if I was to add some shim moves to a machine or anything like that, and now I want to measure some pins again as cylinders, I want to change those colors to a different color which signifies after a shim move. 4.0 does not let you do that, so it's that's something you have to take some notes on in your measurement session or whatever. But you cannot change the colors on layers for different features. Okay, so that being said, say my spheres are here. Say I'm done with my measurement session and I didn't want to show my spheres. I can hide that layer. That's what this toggle icon is here. It just turns them on and off. I do have some center points out there right now that are measured points, but those spheres right now I can turn on and off with this toggle. Or if the IGES file was getting too confusing, I could highlight that layer and then turn it off. Okay, that shows I've only got a little bit of measured content here. That was important at the time of measurement. So IGES, you can turn that on and off, or whatever other feature you want to highlight here. So that's what this toggle will do for on and off. If you wanted to change the colors to show a little bit better clarity on some of the measured features or nominal features, we could do that here with this layers. So we'll say my IGES file, I'd like to change its color. I will just highlight it and I'll go to layer color. And maybe I can lighten it up a little bit, make it a lighter yellow or make it a lighter green maybe. So I'll say OK there and close it out. So maybe that color seems to work great with your printer. So now let me window in on the area that I've measured here by using the W hotkey. Alright, so now I've got the IGES file content here in green, and then you can see my measured features here are in purple. And I'll zoom in with the I key and pan on over just to show that a little bit better. This is my area of concern. This is what I've measured, this bottom side of the sheet metal here and this bottom side of the sheet metal there. So it's pretty nice to be able to show that in some difference in colors that aren't washed out. But now if you're in the layers portion of the menu here and you've got something highlighted and you've either turned them on or off or changed some of the settings on them, you cannot do anything to the screen here until you click outside of the layers box. Okay, so now I can click here, and then I'll be able to window in and out or pan around a little bit. But when I'm in this, in the menu here, or in the layers menu, if I wanted to hit the I key and zoom in, it doesn't do it, or O key, O doesn't do it. I've got to physically click outside of that box, and then I can start manipulating my screen. So that's just a quick way of changing your layers using the icons here, changing the colors or hiding them or exposing them. The other way of doing that is underneath the View menu, you can go to the Layers command here, and it'll pull up this same box that we saw up top in the icon. So you can manipulate any of your layers or turn them on and off here. Say if I was in this menu and I wanted my slots off, I can right mouse click and it brings up this menu. I can turn them off here. Or if I wanted my IGES file off, I right mouse click and I turn it off. Or I could set the color there. So the right mouse click is very, very powerful. I'll close that out. Doesn't look like much content now, so let me turn that back on using the icon this time. So play around with the menu structure a little bit just for the layers. It's very easy and it's very fast, but just remember you cannot change the color on similar features because they will always be on the same layer in Faro software.